Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Zoom into Wine. It's time for the show and your host, Ian Blackburn.
Well, now I'd like to introduce you to Eva Dehlinger because you want to say Dehlinger. It's not Dehlinger, it's Dehlinger. And we are tasting one of my favorite Chardonnays here in California. This is a classic brand that everybody maybe could have, should have found out about. It's a smaller, independently owned brand, but a significant brand. And really nice to meet you, Eva.
Pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me, Ian.
And you have taken the reins of the brand from your dad, right?
That's it. I'm the second generation winemaker and general manager at Dehlinger Winery.
Great. And so every day, do you wake up when the roosters crow and stuff like that, or do you have that kind of existence?
I would say early rising comes with the territory and also with my personality. So yeah, I'm up by dawn. I'm usually awake a little before the sun comes up, turning things over in my head, and I like to get an early start to the day.
Well, here we are in May. And what is happening in May in your family's vineyard?
Well, we are entering what we call the grand period of growth, which is where the green tissue of the grapevines is growing fast, 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 almost to the extent that you can not quite see it grow, but probably measure it on a day by day basis. And this is actually one of our busiest times of the year. Harvest is busy, but during the growing season, there's also quite a lot going on.
Excellent. And as far as your last vintage, did you guys make a 2020?
We are making 2020 wines. We're still in the process of evaluating them and making our selections and blending them, but feeling good so far about the wines.
Excellent. And I want to congratulate you being featured on the cover of the Wine Spectator last year with your 2018, I believe it was the Pinot, but I thought that was a pretty big event for you guys.
Yeah, it is always nice to get the exposure. I think they keyed in on us as an example of long established classic wine in what really was an outstanding vintage in the region.
And I think what it's fair to say that your vineyard, you had the vision, you saw this great piece of ground, and it has now what are called the famous soils of Gold Ridge soils. Huh? That's probably a really important marker for your brand, your family, your success.
Well, right. And it's hard for us now in this era to put ourselves in the perspective of my parents who were starting out in the 70s. But the Russian River Valley at that time wasn't fully established as a wine region. And so it was really a pioneering time. And we indeed were fortunate that the area where my family established a wine company really has some of the greatest soils and climate in the world for grape growing.
And what is one, if you were to taste like five wines from your region, your area, California even, what what do you think people would pick up on in your wine?
I think that the fruit projection in wines from, in particular, Russian River Valley is really notable. That's in part because the weather here is very, very temperate. So you have a maritime influence, you get great development of fruit flavors, but at the same time, retention of them. And so that is really a signature of wines from our area.
Hmm. Well, great. And today we're tasting the 2018 Chardonnay. You have that wine in front of you today.
I do, Ian.
All right. What are you picking up on in this moment of its development? Here we are. It's about 2.5, 3 years into its lifespan. And what is it showing off to you?
Well, for me, I am getting certainly classic Chardonnay characteristics, a little bit of green apple, definitely some fresh citrus, lemon, almost even some grapefruit. But as it is now had a little bit of time in the bottle, I'm getting more complexing factors as well. I'm getting, in particular, some hazelnuts, which is one of my favorite characteristics in a Chardonnay, and also a little bit of ginger.
Hmm. And what do you think the capacity is for this wine? How do you like to tell people what's the window of life for a Dehlinger Chardonnay?
I always think it depends on what an individual is looking for. I think with uh, Chardonnay and other fruit driven varieties such as Pinot Noir, I think it is myself. I like to enjoy them earlier on when you do get that complex of almost floral aromas, a little bit of white flower. I love that. So, myself, I am drinking a lot of the 2018 vintage now. That's only 3 years after the vintage date. But there are people who enjoy the more developed characteristics, more of that hazelnut nuttiness. And in that case, I would say 5 to 8 years. So it's really a matter of taste.
And you're how much new wood on this wine?
This is a little over a third new.
All French?
It's all French oak.
And do you use 100% malolactic fermentation?
Yes.
And do you encourage that, or does it fall short sometimes and you just kind of
Well, so this wine, and in fact, all of our wines are bottled unfiltered. And so, from that point of view, I am looking to achieve stability overall. I want the malolactic fermentation to go through in the barrel. I want it to complete. So, yes, we will make sure that it does. During that period of the winemaking, we'll keep it in a warmer environment. We'll even give it a little bit of stirring, and we'll monitor it to make sure that malolactic fermentation completes fully and that the wine is going to have a good aptitude for unfiltered bottling.
And did you go to UC Davis, or how did you get your wine chops?
I studied at Stanford. I studied earth sciences. That was an interdisciplinary environmental science program. So that the focus was really more on land management and soil science, which has been obviously helpful in the vineyard management aspect of my job. I studied under my father. That was really the heart of my winemaking education. But I was able to fit in some courses at the local community college, and I studied for a year in Burgundy at the University of Bourgogne, furthering my viticultural degrees.
Wow. Sounds like a good excuse to get out of California to me.
It wasn't bad. Although I like it quite a bit here, this is really where my heart is here in Sonoma County.
Oh, great. Well, I'm so thrilled to be able to taste the wine with you, and I can't wait to see the response from our audience. Thank you very much. This is my second vintage in a row with you guys, and I hope to be a long-term player for Dehlinger. Thank you.
Thank you, Ian.
Have a good day. Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ian.
I'll hopefully be in touch with you years to come.
Sounds good. Reach out anytime.
Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.